All right, what, yeah. Thank you, thank you. Let's make sure we have the sound off on the phones. Thank you. That's an important reminder because this could easily go off and annoy everybody. And then Nikki is our first speaker. Isaac is supposed to do the written evaluation, and Alan is supposed to do the oral evaluation.
In 2016, I went to one of the best parties of my life. You may think that it was just some regular high school party, but I can assure you it was not. It was Mickey's Halloween party at the Disneyland Resort. This party was filled with so much magic and little treats I couldn't even contain myself. There was a special parade, fireworks show, only people who go to the party are able to see. The reason I'm telling you this today is because people see this event as just more childish, but coming from me, it wasn't that childish. And doesn't everyone want to let out their inner child sometimes? That's exactly what I did. Today, I wanted to describe for you the best perks of attending Mickey's Halloween party at the Disneyland Resort. When you buy tickets to the Mickey's Halloween party, you get access to both Disneyland and California Adventure, and you have 3 hours prior to go to each of the parks. So what you can do is you can go to California Adventure first and ride as many rides as you can there for the first 3 hours, and then the rest of the 5 hours you get at Disneyland you can spend at the party. The tickets range from $95 to $130 depending on which days you want to go and how early you buy them. So when you buy these tickets, it's a lot less than when you buy like regular day tickets. So when you buy these tickets, you get it cheaper than what it usually is. You have access to both parks, and you get you get them 3 hours earlier than when the party starts. Since you know how much it is, let me tell you the special surprises party attendees are able to enjoy that others aren't able to. When you go to the Halloween party, there's a special parade, fireworks show, and trick-or-treating going throughout the park. During the parade, there's Jack Skellington and Sally, who are in the parade, and all the other characters from The Nightmare Before Christmas. And during the parade, Mickey and Minnie lead the parade in their Halloween costumes. And right before the parade, a headless horseman walks down Main Street, announcing that the parade is going to start. During the fireworks show, it's all Halloween themed, and when you go to the park on regular days and see the fireworks show, it's not the same as when you go to the Halloween party. The Halloween show during regular park days is just normal and and it's not like holiday themed, but when you go to the party, it is Halloween themed. And as you can see right there, that's Zero, and then Jack Skellington's head. So you can obviously tell that it's very Halloween themed. And when you first enter the park, they give you trick-or-treat bags, and these are what the trick-or-treat stations look like. So when you go to each of the stations, there's about 4 to 5 carts just handing out candy. Like, they give you handfuls of candy. It's the best thing ever. And if you're an annual pass holder, you get this bag that when you first walk in, and there's a special bag that you also get when you're an annual pass holder, which is a lot bigger. So you get this bag plus the annual pass holder bag. So you get a lot of candy, trust me. With having special surprises during the Halloween party, you have to have a costume just as exciting. So when you go to the Halloween party, some people don't wear costumes, they just wear Halloween stuff, but a lot of people tend to get like super into it. You can really wear whatever costume you want, but there are like restrictions to it. Since this is a more like children-oriented event, you can't wear anything like too like scary or gory or grotesque, and you shouldn't wear masks because like to some kids that's like really scary. So what most people do is they obviously like center their costume around Disneyland or like anything Disney. So when I went, this was my costume. Me and my 2 cousins, we were Huey, Dewey, and Louie from DuckTales. And how we did our costume was very simple, but very cute, I think. We had orange tights for duck legs, white tutus for feathers, and red, blue, and green shirts symbolizing each character. I was Louie, my cousin was Dewey, and my other cousin was Huey. And while having an amazing costume, you should have so much fun at the party. When you go to the Halloween party, you get so many special perks. You have the tickets, which are so much cheaper than when you go on regular days, and you get 3 hours prior to go into both of the parks. You get the special parade and fireworks show that no one else gets to see except for people that go to the party, and trick-or-treating, which is amazing. Who doesn't love candy? And you get to wear an amazing costume depending how into it you get. Next year when you're thinking, what should I do this Halloween season, but you don't want to get too scared, like at Universal or Not Scary Farm, you remember that you have a choice to go to the happiest place on earth with having a little bit of spook in it.
You don't have to stand there. You look like a target when you stand up there while that's going on. Thank you for volunteering to do that, but we don't have to have you do that. So, Alan, what did you think?
I thought it was good. The pictures that she showed, they were like on topic. They weren't like something else. And she had good examples. She wasn't looking down at her note cards that much. She was loud. She was like she explained everything that she was speaking about, and then she said that there was, she explained at first like the perks that you have when you go to the party, and she explained them all like, throughout her speech. There wasn't anything missing.
Okay. Well, I'll agree with some of the things that you said. I do think I thought there were a couple things that she needed to do extra, but we'll pick those out later. So let's talk about all the stuff that went well first. I like the introduction and the way you identify the topic. You've got a clear statement of what the thesis is. I do think your preview needs to be a little bit more specific. It sounds like it's organized topically in the body of the speech. And I did hear transition phrases. I do think you might want to emphasize them a little bit more for people so that they know, because sometimes because the transition phrases are tying a previous point with the next point, it sounds a little bit repetitive. So you want to make sure that we also maybe get a numerical signpost could help. It's not required, but it might be one of those things that would help, since some of this material is very similar in one section to another. I think the subject is something that the audience is going to be interested in. You've got a different perspective on it. The visuals, I thought, were used appropriately. You showed them at the right times. You might have had a couple of other pictures, for instance, go along with your Huey, Dewey, and Louie costume of some of the things that other people or or like while they're walking in the park or standing in line for one of the attractions, you can kind of get a sense of how many people dress up and what the variations in costumes are. Something that's a little bit broader than what you had, but what you had worked well. You also use them to kind of identify the different sections in the speech, which I think is a good addition to what you're talking about. I didn't hear any supporting material being cited. It sounds like it's all based on your own personal experience, which I don't object to including in the presentation, but there ought to be some additional information here. There are, I'm sure, reviews of the event that are provided in the newspaper. I'm sure that the website from Disney has a lot of these kinds of rules and procedures, and those could be cited. There might be blogs that talk about the event that where they might have some additional information. It sounds a little bit too much like a review of your own personal experience instead of something that's examining the event. It's kind of reporting on what happened in your experience, and I think there's good information there, but it really does feel a little bit less substantial because there's not any additional resources that are being utilized to support your material. Like I said, I thought the visual materials were integrated pretty well. I'm going to disagree a little bit with Alan. I think you need to project your voice a little bit more. I think, especially at the beginning. At the beginning, I think you were a little quieter. I think you got better as you went along, but we're not focusing on delivery issues right now, but that's something that you want to keep in mind, that it's early, you want to get people's attention and engaged, and sometimes you have to talk a little bit louder, especially at 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.